Well, good afternoon. We're going to go back into our project here. We took a little short break. Let me point this out to you, and then we're going to go into some serious cutting here, which I hope works out. That little noise barking, that's Allie. Her barker doesn't work so well. So anyway, she's not under any stress. She's just barking. Okay, we're going to start working on the top of this thing. And as per my method of doing these one at a time, because I want them to fit just a certain way, I'm going to show you, I've got these pattern pieces here already drawn up, but I'm going to show you how I do it or did it. And then we'll shift over to the glass area where we're going to try to cut some glass. But anyway, I've put the paper, the tracing paper under here. We're going to make a pattern for these two, and the pattern for the two on this side over here would be the same thing. Anyway, so we'll show you these two here. What I do is take a mechanical pencil, a regular pencil would work, and I'm holding that pencil straight up because I want, and I'll start right there, I want a little space, and we'll show you what that space, I want a little space between this pencil line here and the glass, because that's going to be where we position our lid, and so I'm compensating for the heart of the lid, this little distance right here. So we've got the bottom of these two pieces cut, and then what I did, I just traced off the rest of this, did the same on the other side, and I've come over to here, and I've marked these pieces. The ones that we just did are piece number 1 and number 2. I've got them setting that way and for a particular reason. And here's the other side, which would be, let's get this out of here. This is number 3 and number 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and now we're looking for, in this particular case, and I'm going to move this over on top of the light box. What we're looking for here now is a certain color that's on this glass. And I'm looking for these brown streaks in the glass. And let me turn this big light off. They're a little more predominant with this big light off. Okay, now you can see what I'm looking for. But I'm looking for this brownish green streaks in that glass. And I wanted to put number 3 and number 4 together so that they move out or in line. The color green runs in line real well with those two. And here's number 1 and number 2 with a color grain on them, you can see running out from under them. Okay, now we need to extract this 4 pieces of glass from this sheet. So what I have, if you'll look, and we'll move off, we'll just set the pieces, the pattern pieces off to the side. Okay, and I've marked the pattern on the glass with this Sharpie. And then where I actually want to run my glass cutter will be the solid line. So I'm going to cut, what I'm going to do is cut a section of this sheet out. What's that, the word, hopefully. And we're going to follow the contour right there, and we'll get those, the top cut out of those two right away. And then the dotted line is where I want to come out and go off the sheet. And I've gone clear to here because I want a nice gentle arc off the sheet. I don't want any trouble with breakage. And it could get a little tricky here because of this is the edge roll of the sheet. I figure we'll be okay, most likely. And then we'll come back and extract these pieces out one at a time based on where that dark line is. This dotted line is going to be my cut line to get this long, slender piece off this Uroboros. This is Uroboros, by the way, this Uroboros glass. So let's turn this big light back on, turn this light off, and I'll find a place for you to sit here and watch. This is going to work pretty good. I think you can see what I'm doing here. I'll back up just a little bit. Whoop. Back up just a little bit more there. And I think the only trick here will be to get this off here. Sometimes on that roll, the cut doesn't necessarily want to go exactly where you want it. But if I get clear to here with a fracture running here, I don't care what happens out here. The key is going to be up. Let's turn this a little bit here. Up here. Okay, so here we go. Let me move this just a little bit and see if you can still see my hand. Yep. And venture off here. Let's see. I want to make sure you guys can get the whole thing here. Bear with me. I'm still dreaming about my, hey, there you go. I'm still dreaming about my studio with a couple of cameras at it. Okay, let's try that. I'm using this silver Schnitt. There you go, silver Schnitt. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to stay on this dark line right here till I get to here. And then we'll just keep going. And the reason I want to, I could go on down the sheet, but this is a pretty good looking piece of glass right here. So we'll salvage that out of this deal. So let me push everything back because we don't want any problems here. Okay, here we go. Just following that black line. And now we're going to just go off of it. In a little bit of a rut there. And we don't have to be right exact on that line, but I'm cool with where it is. Now we're just going to try to get off the sheet here. Oh, it's a little rough right there. Okay. Now let's back this out right here. And we're going to turn this thing around and get out here with it. And I'm going to make sure that you can see what I'm doing here. First, we're going to put the, I don't know, as rigid as this stuff is, I think we might tap that. I thought about, in fact I could, I'll tell you what we'll do. Sometimes you can, this thing has a deep throat in it. I want to look down here, make sure you can see what I'm doing. There you go. A deep throat in it. And I've rotated the bar around. And we're going to get right up under the edge of this. And if I don't hear a relatively pronounced, ooh, there's a tiny fracture. I saw it. Okay. Let me get the ball. Here's a ball cutter. All right. Just tapping under here. Listen for it to change tone. We're going to, nope, not yet. I'm going to give it a little bump there to see if it wants to come off. Now let's try. Can you see me down on this other end here? Yep. I'm going to try down here and see what it does. Oh yeah, that felt pretty good. Okay, there it is. Now, let's back that out of the way. We put the big sheet up. And I'm going to set you guys in a place. Let me move this paper out of the way. Set you in a place where you can see what I'm doing. Alright. Now we're going to take the silver Schnitt and I think, I'll make sure everybody can see what I'm doing. Yep. I think I want to go here and get these two separated from these two. Now, this can get a little bit tricky. You can break a sheet here because I can feel that edge roll there. So I have in the past pushed down on a sheet like this and it cracked somewhere else. So I'm a little bit I'm kind of conscious of, I don't know whether you can see this or not. See that thing moving? So I don't want to put this thing under a lot of stress and have it break right off here. So what I think I'm going to do is get it on this edge of this table here, and start the score mark right here. And see, I'm hanging that lip off the table so as I don't get, you know, I want to keep this glass flat. All right, now, what I'm looking for now, there it is the Silberschnitt. Okay, there's that piece. Okay, so we're pretty confident now. And again, that lip is setting up, and there's enough space right under that lip to cause this piece of glass to be lifted up just a little bit. So if I apply a lot of pressure down right here on it, it could break this sheet like right across there. So again, we're going to come out back on the edge of the table again. Just a little cautious here. Now I'm trying to keep that lip off. Well, let's see, where do we, but I'll be better off going this way. Nope, I want to go this way. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now, not too much worried about that. I don't know. See, now I've got that lip sitting here now. We still should be all right, but let's go ahead and not take a chance. And this Uroboros, there's not much of that around anymore, I wouldn't think, but this stuff is hard. I hope you can see this. I think you can. Okay, there's that one. And we've got a nice piece here to use for something else. Okay, now, this should get pretty easy here. Turn it around, and there we are back on that lip. I'm real cautious of those because I've had some bad luck. I don't think it's bad luck, it's just not thinking maybe. With that lip causing unnecessary, whoa, feel that hole there, boy. Yeah, we'll get that out. So let me flip that bar around. Okay. Well, there's two of them. All right. Now here we are over here. Okay. Let's go here. And then I hope I've made sense to what this is. There's on this side right here and on this side here, the glass gets just a little bit thicker right on this edge. Okay, if you think about that, now I'll just exaggerate it. If it was that much thicker, you start putting pressure across here, you can crack that glass right across here. So that's why I'm so cautious of that. Somebody might say, well, you've been too cautious. No, I don't want to lose any of these. Another flaw in the glass. I don't want to lose any of these pieces because I've got them set up color-wise. All right. Gee whiz, look at that. Starting to work here. Okay. I've had enough problems with that in the past, boy. I'm just real leery of that edge there. Feel that the little tiny wheel fall off into that hole. Okay. Ah, a little DNA on there. Now we got to be careful here. I can't even see where the pattern went. There it is. Okay, there's our 4. And now we'll come over here and let's see. I'm looking for, here we go. So number 4, let me back you guys out so you can see this. There's number 4 and number 3 and number 1 and number 2 and these are our upsides here. So that doesn't look right. Okay, we'll go this direction. It's one of these. There it is. There's number 1. All right, we got number 1 out of the way. And number 2 looks like this one. That ain't number 2. Okay. There it is. Number 2. I guess we could have marked them before we went and whacked on them. No big deal. Okay, you see where I'm at? There's number 3. And there's number 4. Okay, now what we would do is go ahead and put the lead in here. And these are thick pieces of glass because we're working up in the top of that, or on the edge of that sheet. It's going to work. Okay. So, anyway, I'll tell you what. We'll, I don't know whether I want to keep going or not. I got to grind these out. I don't want you to have to sit here and wait on me to grind everything. What I'm going to do next, this is a good place to stop. And we get into this wacky stuff right here. I'll show you some leading. But anyway, what I'm going to do is put a little piece of lead across here. And this one here would go first, right? Because this one here would sit on top of that one. So I'm going to work this one in. I'll get the lead in, work this one in, make sure it fits the cartoon the way I want it, make sure this contour here works. And then you can already tell this thing's going to there's not going to be a lot of heartburn making this fit. Okay. Then we have that one piece of lead going all the way across. Then we'll intersect right here, put another piece of lead here and come down this way. And then we'll set this piece in. And then we'll start thinking about coming over here because this one will go in on top of that one. Then we'll come this way. So what I wanted you to see, look at the nice color line up here. And then over here, look at that color bar run through there. And these leaves on this side and these leaves on this side were the only leaves running horizontal across here that I really wanted to get this color to run into. These other ones, the other ones are more or less singular. They don't necessarily, they wouldn't necessarily need to, they will run out this way, but they wouldn't be part of this book matching system that we have right here. So that's going to look real cool when this is finished up because they're going to be book matched across both sides. So in the old days when I used to do this stuff, I probably would have just found a piece of opalescent brown glass, whacked that one out there, stuck it in there, found another one, stuck it in, and on and on. And you will have what you're looking for, brown, green, opalescent, 4 pieces, but you won't have that finished fine look that I'm going to have when these lines run into each other. The same as this entire piece is all book matched, all through here, all of it. So that makes a big difference in the way this thing's going to look. So I'll pay very close attention when I do these leaves here. There's 3 leaves. When I do these leaves here, I'll pay attention to where they're coming out of the sheet out of the same, I hope you can see this. These 3 leaves here will come out of that sheet running next to each other with the color grain running that direction. Okay, pretty good lesson. I'm glad it worked out. And I'm glad that I didn't have any problems with the glass. So that's that. And when I get these in, maybe we'll just take one section here and I'll do some lead work here for you and show you these angles. Right now we're no big deal. And I don't want to, I think I had that one video that got up into the 40-something minutes. And so I just wear people out. Although there are people that want to see how this is done. We'll do enough lead work and glass cutting and all that stuff in this whole piece that everybody will get a little something out of it. And the one piece at a time method is really great here because it's allowing me to conform right to the cartoon as I build these pieces one at a time. Okay, well that's all I have for this particular little lesson, and like I say, we'll come back and do some lead work once I get in a good spot. We probably could do some lead work over in here. It'd be pretty cool. All right, well thank you, and if you have questions, as I always say, be sure and ask me.